Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video, and in today's video, I want to share with you guys how to get the best settings possible for you. I'm going to show you guys all of my recommendations and show you guys step by step on exactly what to do and how exactly to find the best sensitivity that's going to work best for you. So definitely stay tuned in the video if you guys are having some trouble finding that right sensitivity to use, because this video will help you guys out tremendously. And real quick, before I get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. I give away 2,000 V-Bucks every single Friday. So if you guys would like to participate in the next giveaway and win some free V-Bucks, all you guys have to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every single new upload and when I announce the winners every Friday. And lastly, make sure you guys put down your Xbox gamer tag, your PSN gamer tag, or Epic account down in the comment section below, and you guys will be automatically entered into the giveaway. And lastly, if you guys like to support me in the item shop, all you guys have to do, go down to the bottom right, hit on support a creator, type in my creator code, which is Young Humor, and you guys will have me added and supported as a creator in the item shop. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so in this video, I want to be sharing with you guys exactly how to find the best sensitivity that's going to work best for you. And I want to show you guys a couple of my recommendations on how to find that. So the first setting that you guys want to adjust first is going to be your horizontal and vertical speed. Now, the sensitivity that you should start with that I think is a great middle ground is a 48%. So what you want to do first, if you don't have any idea on the sensitivity to find, go to a 48% first, and that's the sensitivity that you want to start with. Now, there's a couple of things you want to choose from when it comes to picking the right X and Y sensitivity. So the first thing is just going to be how much control that you have, and that's really important because some people, at least for myself, I'm not really able to control high sensitivities very well, so I tend to stay a little bit towards the lower end, but some people can stay on higher sensitivities a lot better. So the first thing, you want to make sure you have enough control and you feel comfortable with that sensitivity. It doesn't feel like you're out of control when you're flick shotting, going for shots, or anything like that. And the second thing, you want to make sure that you're able to turn around fast enough, because there's so many situations where if you're in a box, people jump over you. So you want to feel comfortable maybe just looking up and down, just being able to look around you very efficiently and also swiftly, so that way you never get caught in a situation where someone jumps across your screen and you're not able to keep up whatsoever, which really only happens on too low of a sensitivity. So once you've been on 48 and you feel like you don't have enough control over your sensitivity, I would recommend lowering it by 2 points going down, and that way it can give you a little bit more control. Whenever you're changing your sensitivity, I only recommend changing it by 1 or 2 points just to find that perfect sensitivity that's going to work for you. So if you feel like you don't have enough control on that, then you can lower it. But if you feel like you have plenty of control and you just feel like you're not fast enough when you're turning around, if someone jumps across your screen, or if you're just looking, vertical and you feel like it's just not fast enough, then, you can bump up your sensitivity up to a 50%, and you can try that out. And if you feel like it's still too slow, then you can bump it up even more. Now, as far as my recommendations on where to go, I wouldn't go any lower than a 42%. That's probably the lowest that I would go. And the highest that I would go is maybe between like a 55 and maybe 60. I feel like that might be just a little bit too high. So anything between a 42 and 60% is going to be the range you want to stay on. Anything higher or lower is either going to be too slow, you're not going to be able to turn around, or too fast to the point where you're just not going to have enough control over your shots and you're just going to be whiffing shots constantly. So that's the first thing that you want to change. The second thing is going to be your building and also editing multiplier. Now, a good middle ground to stay on, no matter what sensitivity you're on, it can vary, but I recommend to be on, start on a 2x sensitivity, which is going to be 2 times your horizontal and vertical speed. And then you can either go a little bit lower or you can go a little bit higher, but you want to start out on a 2, because that's kind of a good middle ground. Now, if you do end up lowering it, so you go to a 1.8 or 1.9, that's going to feel quite smooth. And if you go on, above a 2.1, 2.2 and above, it's going to be in the faster ranges. But a 2x sensitivity for building and editing is a good middle ground as far as the sensitivity to use. That's right in between being very smooth and also being very fairly quickly. So you want to try a 2x first. You want to build and edit a little bit. See, and when it comes to building and editing, you might want to adjust certain sensitivities, because I have seen a lot of people have just a slightly higher editing sensitivity than building. So if you feel like your building is right where it needs to be, but your edits are just slightly slow, then you can bump up your editing speed 1 or 2 points, and that would work just fine as well. So start out on a 2, see how it feels, and if you feel like you want to go a little bit faster, which most people tend to go towards the faster side, then you would want to raise it up. But if you want to go on the smoother side, you can definitely do that. But the one thing to keep in mind, if you do choose to have a smoother building and editing sensitivity, so a lower one, is you want to make sure you're able to box up quickly enough, because the worst thing that can happen is if you're in a game, you get shot from your left and your right, and your sensitivity is just too slow to be able to protect yourself, which happens all the time. So that's why you have to find a good balance, and most people do tend to go a little bit towards the higher end, but you don't want to go anything above like a 2.3 or a 2.4, and the reason being is right here when you're going to edit, if you're on too high of an editing sensitivity, you're going to overcorrect, and it's going to be much harder to line up your shot, because after your edit, your crosshair is going to be all over the place. So that's why you don't want to go above like a 2.3 or 2.4, but most people tend to go towards the higher side. So going into ADS, I don't recommend anything lower than a 9%. It's pretty straightforward on any sensitivity. I don't recommend, and this is for linear. If you're on exponential, it can be a little bit different, but for linear, you want to not go below a 9%, and I wouldn't really go above a 15%. So anything from a 9 to 15% is going to be the best range to stay in. Now, if you are a little bit towards the lower end, so I would say 9 to 11, this is going to be a little bit slower, and you're going to see most of your gains on accuracy from medium or even long ranges. You're not going to see as much when it comes to necessarily close range and aiming with your shotgun, because a lot of times when I'm in game, just honestly, I only really hip fire with my shotgun and SMG, so I tend to stay a little bit towards the lower end to help me hit shots from medium range and long range. But if you're the type of player who aims down your sights with your shotgun, then you want to be in the ranges of 13 to 15%. That way, when you're aiming down your sights with your shotgun, it doesn't feel sluggish or even just not able to keep up. So you want to be in the ranges of 12 to 15% if you're the type of player who aims down their sights with their shotgun or their SMG at point blank ranges. Otherwise, I would stay in the ranges of 9 to 11 or 12%, but I would go above that if you're like a really close range player who aims down their sights with their shotgun fairly consistently. So that's just kind of my recommendations for that. Pretty straightforward for ADS. I tend to stay on like 11 and 12%, because I tend to stay in the medium and long range. And then close range, I just go for hip fires. So when it comes to look dampening time, this is something you guys may want to try out. And look dampening is kind of like an extra dead zone, in which when you go to aim down your sights, and this could be close range or long range, it helps you make those small crosshair adjustments that are a little bit difficult to do on linear settings. So if you are looking to just, slightly flick over or just slightly move your crosshair when you're aiming down your sights, adding a look dampening time can be your best bet, because it kind of slows down your aim a little bit. It makes your analog stick not register, necessarily right away, which can give you more control over your aim in those small movements, which can be super helpful. You guys can decide what to use on. I wouldn't go, above like a 20 look dampening time, but anything in that range can be very good to use. So as far as the dead zones, and that's the last thing that I wanted to talk about. So for the dead zones, it really just comes down to your controller. I ended up raising my dead zones pretty recently, because I think in just the stream yesterday or the day before, I was having a little bit of stick drift on my left analog stick. So I just raised my dead zone like 2 points or so I don't have to worry about that. Because the reason why you don't want to play on too low of a dead zones is because if you have stick drift, it can be very problematic if you're trying to get off any heals, because it's going to cancel your minis, cancel your med kits, and that's going to be super frustrating when you're in game and you need to get off a quick mini. You're not going to be able to. But the lower the dead zones, the better, because you're going to be able to feel very responsive, but you don't want it too low. Otherwise, having stick drift can be very problematic. So those are going to be all my recommendations on how to find the best sensitivity for you. Those are kind of like my general guidelines and what I would recommend starting on and making your adjustments from. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful and of value. If you guys could, make sure you guys do drop a like. Make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new, hit that notification bell so you guys get notified for every new upload. And as well, I do live stream every day on this channel at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every time I go live here on this channel. So with that being said, I really appreciate you guys watching the video, and alright guys, I'll see you next video.